and welcome back to Compassion Camp. I hope you're enjoying some of the activities for this year's at-home VBS. I know it's not the way we always do it, but I know that we've also had some really fun activities and crafts. Maybe you've worked a little bit on those yoga movement prayers. Maybe you've enjoyed sharing the stories as a family or asking questions. Maybe your favorite thing is the games or the crafts. Today we're going to talk about having compassion for yourself. So listen to this story about Jesus, the temple leaders, and the disciples.
Jesus had the disciples spend a lot of time in Jerusalem. One day he was at the temple teaching and telling stories. A lot of people listened eagerly, but many had questions.
The temple leaders and elders were unsure of him and asked, "Who gave you the power to do and say these things?" Some were jealous and wanted to trick him, so they asked, "Should the people pay taxes?" Others were worried and asked him, "What happens in the resurrection and in the afterlife?"
What do you think the opposite is of being unsure? Is it jealous or worried? How do you think these feelings might keep us from loving ourselves, loving our neighbors, and loving God?
Then one temple leader was curious about Jesus. He saw that Jesus was wise and kind. He asked him, which one of God's laws, the commandments, is the most important?
Jesus answered, "The first is what we all know. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God. The Lord is one. You shall love the Lord of God, your God, with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength."
Before the leader could ask more, Jesus went on, "The second is love your neighbor as yourself. These two are the most important of God's laws."
So the leaders in this story who question Jesus are concerned with a lot. They're focused on things that aren't necessarily related to loving God or loving neighbors or loving ourselves. They don't really understand or trust Jesus, the way that he heals and teaches and loves and how all of the people decide to follow him. So they ask Jesus, "Where did you go to become a teacher?" Because they didn't understand where he got his power or where he got his knowledge. They asked him about his political views, hoping he'd choose one side and make it at least some people angry because they didn't choose his side. They asked him about complicated things like the afterlife because they thought he wouldn't be able to give a good answer, and then the people would become unsure of him and stop following him. So maybe try reading this story again at home and wonder a little bit about how the leaders felt and how the disciples felt as they listened to Jesus talk to them. Thanks for joining us.